Okay, today I'm going to be doing some reviews of the Dumbphones that I've tried. I'll be posting this on the Dumbphones sub. I watch a ton of reviews by Dumbphone people, and they kind of help me, the most with kind of sussing through things. So, we can go from there. I'll start off kind of giving a background on each. I haven't really prepared this too much, but hopefully some of this can help you. This is my first kind of, downgrade. Just a cracked 6 or 5S, I think. It just got too cracked and broke, but it worked fine. I don't like how this isn't, you can't change the launcher or anything. It's very limited in that way, which is something that I personally really don't like. So I can't do any Apple products for that reason. I use cold turkey blocker with my Windows laptop, and that's kind of how I keep myself in check. Cold turkey blocker works well for me. So that's the first one. Second one is this LG. I forget the model, but if anyone wants to know, I can look into it. It won't turn on right now because you need to have a SIM in it for it to actually to go through the interface. But this one was okay. Fairly limited, kind of like the 3310 Nokia 4G or 3G, whatever one. Do simple calls and text. The texting on this really sucked. It would go by, instead of sorting through your text by to sender, it would sort through it by the message you send. I love the size of it. I'm not super tall, but 6'1", and my hands are a little bit bigger, and I just love how small and portable. I love flip phones. Unfortunately, this one did not work out well, just because it was just so, I couldn't do anything with it. I personally need WhatsApp, because I just have so many family and Dungeons and Dragons group chats and different interest groups and stuff like that, like friends and whatnot. We all use WhatsApp, so fortunately wasn't able to stick with this one. Then the next phone I had was the Nokia 2720 4G, the flip phone. That phone was incredible. That was probably one of my favorite flip phones. It was big. It was bigger than this one. It was definitely a bit wider. Unfortunately, it broke in the back of my pocket. I fell. But it was awesome. It did WhatsApp really well. I used Pod LP and World Radio. And one thing I really loved, those are KaiOS apps for anyone who doesn't know, from the KaiOS App Store. One thing about that, it was really awesome. Pod LP had a lot of the podcasts that I like to watch, I listen to rather. One thing that it really did lack was Audible, which I love listening to audiobooks, and so I kind of had to sacrifice doing that, but that was okay because I like podcasts as well, and it's just about learning, and so I would just kind of listen to books. I wouldn't even listen to books because if it's not on my phone, I kind of wouldn't do it. So I guess that was a bit of a downgrade, but the Nokia 2720 Flip was incredible, did WhatsApp really well, really snappy, the texting was fine. It worked just really well. I love for anyone who has a KaiOS device and is listening to this, I don't know if there is anyone listening to this, but I'd very much recommend getting the World Radio app. And when you're out for a walk or on the way to work or whatever you might be doing in your day, put it on. It exposed me to so many new, very nice music. It was really great. One thing that was sucky about it was it wouldn't, you don't have the display where it reads out, oh, this is the song I was playing. So if you really liked it, I would, record it on another device and then play it back on a friend's phone on Shazam. But I love World Radio. That was a really cool thing. that I just really liked it. It was really fun. Nokia 2720 Flip was just incredible. Loved it. Broke, unfortunately. At that point, even though I loved it, I was thinking to myself, well, I love, these phones, but my only issue with the 2720 Flip was that it wasn't a QWERTY. The T9 was great, but there were certain scenarios where I had to text longer messages, whether it be for work or when I was in social situations, that doing voice to text wasn't possible. And I stand by voice to text. I actually won't buy a phone if it doesn't have voice to text, because I keep up with my family through text. If I'm working, I like to check in on my my friends and my partner and whatnot. So I really wanted the QWERTY. So I bought the Blackberry Classic. Now, I used the Blackberry Classic for a few months. I looked forever for a KaiOS device with a QWERTY. I thought that would be perfect for me. I thought even about shipping the Geo Phone 2 over from India, but I know that it's locked to Geo, which is very unfortunate. I know they've come out with a few, one other one for, I think, the Mexican market, but it's also locked to another character, and I don't know how to go into the settings, and I don't really want to mess with that if it it just seemed like a bit of a pain. So I got the BlackBerry 10. Not that, well, it's running BlackBerry 10 OS software, but it's the Classic. This worked pretty well. I like how slim it is. It's big. When I compare it to something like this or my Jelly, look at the difference here. Of course, they did emails. The hub was super cool because it would get everything in the same area. Hub, if everyone doesn't know, is the little notification section where it kind of combines every one of your apps notifications, so text and emails. Did emails amazing, of course, because it's a BlackBerry. Really, really works well, and it was buggy sometimes. Again, I have to use WhatsApp, and sometimes the calls would be buggy. Picking up a call, sometimes it wouldn't let me pick up a call and swipe on it, or the calls worked fine, but it was also just big, and I didn't like how big it was. So at that point, I'm just going to keep these to you guys. When I watch videos, my biggest thing is for size comparison, so I'll keep these all in sight. Unfortunately, I don't have the 2720 Flip, as I said, was broken. Then, after this phone, I was like, well, I got to go back to a 2720 Flip. And so had to buy one off eBay because I live in Canada, and unfortunately I bought the Chinese version, which is de-googled, which for some people is incredible, but for me that means that I couldn't use voice to text, or it didn't come with WhatsApp, I believe. And it was the red version. I was super excited because it was red. I don't even like red, but it's better than I thought it was kind of neat than just the original black or the white. But the red 2720, love that phone. Unfortunately, came Chinese version, which really bummed me out. To be honest, I was so sad. I was looking for it in the mail, checking every 20 minutes, running downstairs to check the front door to see if it had come. Finally came, so excited, opened it up, put my SIM in it, logged into my KaiOS account, and then lo and behold, it's the Chinese version, which really sucked. So then that year for work, I had to get a big boy phone, and I looked everywhere for a good size. Oh, don't want that in there. I looked everywhere for a good sized smartphone, like a modern smartphone, and the Pixel 4a was cheap, and the carrier that I'm with had it, and it worked well. I get so distracted with the phone. I hate having to pick it up all the time, and I have really bad self-control, and so having that on there was a bit of a pain. Having to have it on me was a pain. I didn't like it. It's a great phone. I got nothing bad to say about it. But, it just was hard. I have tried a few different blocking software. BlockSite, I have a yearly subscription to. It didn't work well. I found that I could turn on some battery saving stuff and it would close it in the background, and then I could deactivate it as an admin app. I also tried it with Kaspersky Safe Kids. I thought that one was pretty good. Kaspersky Safe Kids was good. I don't remember having an issue with it. I think it worked pretty well. Just a pain to set up. You have to have another device and set it up on someone else's email because you could reset the password. Like if you're doing it for yourself. I don't know if you guys even have an issue with this stuff, but for me it was about blocking certain apps so I didn't cave in or browsing and stuff. And so, yeah, you have to, use someone else's email and have them set up the password. And, every time maybe you need something unblocked quickly in emergency, and so you have to call them, get the password, log in, undo it. Then the password, then they have to change it again. Just a big pain. Again, had it for work, and I keep this with me in case I have to go on vacation, really. That's the only time I use it. If I'm going to travel, and I just, when you're dealing with the border services or, I don't know, with COVID, and you have to show your QR code and all this stuff. So, I tend to keep that with me. It's just something to have when I travel. Then I picked up the Jelly. Now, the Jelly is the cutest little thing. I like the Jelly a lot. It's good. I didn't really have any issues with it. The battery life kind of sucky, to be honest. Didn't really enjoy that. Sometimes I'd be on the phone and it would die. And that didn't really happen with any of these phones, really, on the table here, other than the Jelly. I think it's just because it's such a powerful little device and the battery's not too big. In the end of the day, did everything well. It's an Android phone. One of the things that I really like about the Unihertz phones, this is a Unihertz Jelly 2, is that they have this thing called student mode. Now, I know in China there's a lot of manufacturers are putting features in to curb phone usage and social media usage and gaming, and Unihertz is one of those phones. It has student mode, which means that someone else can set up a four code PIN password to block anything you want, which I thought was pretty cool. So as far as dumbing the phone down, I could dumb it completely. Basically, I downloaded Audible, Spotify, my banking app, I believe like Uber and Uber Eats, and Google Maps I had still, and then everything else I blocked, other than like calculator and weather and some of the little doodads that might be nice to have every once in a while, but no real time wasters. I also blocked Google Assistant and Google. Kind of a pain. The reason why I really liked the 2720 was because even though you could look stuff up on their Chrome app, the iOS devices I'm talking about, you can look stuff up on the Chrome app. It sucks to do. And you just end up not doing it because it's a friggin' pain. Scrolling through, you have to use the little, the 4 keypad thing, and it just is shitty experience. And so that's why I like the 2720 Flip. This guy, when I need to look something up, the browser is a full browser, and I can do voice to text on it. I can also type on this thing, even though it looks small. It's surprisingly easy to type on. And so it ends up being that I would still look up shit a lot and be reading articles or going on TikTok sometimes if it wasn't blocked at a particular time via the student mode. And I know how stupid that is, but it's kind of just if I was really bored, that's what I would do. And even though it's a small screen, you just kind of adapt to it. And a lot of people, the reason why I bought this phone was so that I could not have a big screen. And I was like, well, it's only 3 inches. I'll never watch stuff on it. I don't even, that was not even a problem. But that's not true, at least for me. I would end up just doing the same crap that I would do in a regular phone on this little thing. And if you have a friend around, or your family members or someone you can trust, then I would definitely say this is a great phone, because the student mode makes it so even you can't even factory reset it, and it's not like an app third-party blocking software such as for example BlockSite or Kaspersky Safe Kids or some other equivalent. I know Spin Safe Browsing has another one, which I really like that platform. But yeah, if you have a friend who can block it for you and you don't use it too much and you're not worried about the battery, it's a surprisingly crazy good phone. When I first got this, I downloaded Warzone on it, like I don't know, some new Call of Duty app, and it played it surprisingly with no issues, which was hilarious. But you know what? Cute little phone, super fun, very nice to have in your hand. Single-handed typing obviously is super easy. I know on some of these bigger phones, which I hate, you gotta adjust the phone to hit the X button, or like shuffle it in your hand like you're a magician or something doing sleight of hand tricks. So this one's nice. I like it. I actually might go back to this one now that I'm talking about it, but as you can see, I get very obsessive about these things, and everything has to be perfect for me. So next, Nokia 6300 4G. This one was probably my biggest disappointment, and I'm sorry none of these are charged and I'm not showing you the UI. I know that's not very helpful, but if anyone wants an actual real, I don't even think anyone, or I doubt a lot of people will watch this and even need to want to see the insides and how everything works anyway. So anyway, I apologize. This is here for the size comparison though. When I watch reviews, I love to see how things compare size wise, because I'll have this phone, but then I'll want this phone, but I don't know how big it is, and that's a huge thing for me. So Nokia 6300 4G, super big disappointment. I know like Jose Briones and a few other people talked about it in the subreddit, but there's this double typing thing where you're doing T9 texting, which is already a bit of a pain, pretty much a big pain. T9 texting kind of sucks anyway. You can get used to it if it's snappy, like an older phone like this guy. Doing T9 texting is a breeze. Everything is instant. I don't know what the hell happened to these companies where we're in 2022. It's just because they're an afterthought and they don't want to invest the money to make a good product, because they know they're just selling it to overseas markets, and that's not going to hurt their brand, which is shitty. You should have a little integrity as a brand, but I think Nokia kind of phones it in. Whatever, I forget the name of the company that they use to build or to license these new lines of re-updated Nokia phones with KaiOS. But anyway, it worked for a while. Did what I needed to do. Just super buggy, like really buggy. I used this one for like 6 months or something like that, and it was nothing like the 2720 Flip. Nothing like it. It was really buggy. The texting experience was horrible. Text-to-speech works fine, or speech-to-text rather. If you are ever needed to go somewhere and you're in a hurry and you need navigation, this is not going to work. I found my biggest thing was, not biggest thing, but one of the big falls with this one compared to the 2720 or any of these phones, except, ones without a GPS and ones with a shitty GPS, was that it just didn't have a great GPS whatsoever. It would clock me in 2 blocks away from where I was. Obviously no directional support, so, can't move it this way, move it this way, move it this way, east, west. You can't. No idea what the hell direction you're in, which is, it's okay. I'm not blaming it. It comes with the territory of having a crappy phone that's built, for seniors and others alike, but it just really made it pretty difficult sometimes when I was in, crappy situations or needed to go somewhere where I didn't know, and it was only directions, like MapQuest, old school stuff, and it works in a pinch, but really when you don't know where you are and what direction you're heading, it makes it hard to start following the step-by-step directions that it provides you. It did definitely help me strengthen my directional skills a little bit. However, I would usually just ask somebody and find somebody until I knew kind of how to get to places. But this one sucked, man, and it really bummed me out because I was a fan of the candy bar. A flip phone will always be my favorite. I will always like candy bar phones, and it just was a bummer. It just didn't work well, and turned it off for a while. Started using my Titan Pocket, which is my current phone. Turn it back on, voice to text has stopped working. I know there was all that talk about voice to text being discontinued on the Nokia phones, like the Google service is not providing it. And unfortunately, it looks like that was the case, and I didn't even update it. I ended up updating it to see if it would do anything, and the same thing happened. It doesn't work when I long press the middle button, which used to be the key on the 2720 and this guy to do the voice to text on either WhatsApp or text. Nothing happens, or if you long press it far enough, it just takes you to the Google Assistant app. But that doesn't help you with voice to text at all, which again, I think for myself at least, is definitely very mandatory for me. The one I can show you the UI a little bit is the Titan Pocket. Now, the Titan Pocket, I have the Blackberry launcher on it. Great phone, big and bulky, which, you gotta expect it with Unihertz at this point. They put out the Titan Slim, and that's I don't know who the hell in the world considers the width of that thing slim, but it's big. One of the things I love about dumb phones is you put them in your pocket and you don't even notice them. And it's heavy. It's heavy. It's big and it's heavy. Compared to, I guess that probably doesn't pick up, and I just dropped my phone for no reason, but you know what? The QWERTY is great. Same student mode thing that the Jelly 2 has, but it's just big. It's big and it's clunky, and that's why I don't like it. It works really well. For what it does, is it obviously an Android phone. It's not a dumb phone. You can make it a dumb phone via student mode and just have your essentials, which is what I have. I actually find that Google Maps works amazing on it. Does directions really well. You just have to enable the network and GPS and something else. There's an option, and you can enable all three, and it makes it way better. So this is my current work phone. I no longer have to default to this guy, but I don't know. If you compare it to when I was doing research, I was trying to find size comparisons to the Blackberry, and Blackberry is it's smaller. The Blackberry's smaller, and the Blackberry is already a big phone, and the Blackberry's thinner and smaller. I know it's a new phone and it has to be running Android, but that's just the case with the Unihertz phone. They're big and they're bulky and they're heavy, and for something that's this big, there's no IP rating. There's no dust proofing or any testing. It feels heavy duty and it's survived a good amount of drops. And there's these big looking Cat S22-esque screws in the sides. But that's the biggest problem with, I think, the Dumbphone today. And I think no, it's not a problem. It just doesn't suit my needs rather. The Cat S22 Flip is huge, massive, and it doesn't come with like a blocking software. I don't think that any app that you can buy on the App Store, even paid apps, can properly and foolproofingly block you from accessing things that you don't want to access, other than at the moment the Unihertz devices, because their blocking software is built in. That's just a problem for me. I don't know if that's a problem for everyone else, but even when I have a Dumbphone, I find myself using the internet and just looking at things that I probably shouldn't, like TikTok and Instagram and YouTube, and so I trust these devices for blocking the distraction apps for me, because if you have a friend, there's no way you can get around it, at least with my technological knowledge. There's no way I can figure out how to get, and I'll try in moments of weakness where I just need a distraction and I need to get away, and I can't figure it out. There's nothing I can do. And so that's what makes the Unihertz phones really great. And I've been looking at, other flip phones, because I like that form factor the most, because I really found that the added barrier of having to open up the phone to use it made me not really use it. And also because, the 2720 Flip, or this guy, doesn't really have too much to do as of leisure. I mean, there's like a Zap Reddit client on the App Store, but it's not fun to use, and there's not really much you can do. It's not like a Android experience. I've been looking around at phones for a long time, and I have had not great luck with finding one that I can stick to. I'm also just finicky, and that's just me. However, I just wanted to give you a little bit about my experiences. Right now, I'm looking into the Xiaomi Kin F21 Pro, because I like the candy bar form factor, and it seems like it's just a really great phone. Like, I know on the Dumbphone Finder, there's an AliExpress link, and it's the cracked version with Google Play Store, but then again, it's kind of just one comment said it well, which is it's just a jelly with the bottom lopped off. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm still kind of looking around. I know that there's some great Kyocera devices, but they're pretty huge. Looking into getting Opal phones, but they're only available in Australia. I saw one comment that said that they were kind of having something in the works for the US market. I don't know if that's coming in the summer or the fall, or if it's still a thing. Now, there is the Shock Classic, but it's sold out everywhere, and I believe it was just announced that they blocked support for, I know it runs Android 10 or Android 11, but they blocked access for downloading apps, and it's really hard to find. The one that I looked into as well was the Sonim XP3. Unfortunately, it's so big. It's like the Cat S22 Flip. If it was smaller, I'd buy it because I'd try to figure out a way we could make something work with the blocking software. I love the flip factor, but the phones, it's like this in your pocket. It's even bigger. And who the hell wants to carry something like that around? A lot of people. And that's fair. If you're one of those people, by all means, that's great. And I hope you enjoy it. Because I wish I could. But for some reason, for me, just being able to slip a phone in my pocket, not have a lug in there that I could, break into a bank window if I decided to, with like a brick. It's nice. I mean, I'm more of like a dainty phone guy, and I'm not afraid to admit it. It's nice to have like these three. 2720 Flip was even too big for my liking. But it was good. It was a good size. You could see everything. But yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do. Probably going to switch back from this guy to this guy for now because, it's nice, it's cute, I don't know. But, the Xiaomi Kid F21 Pro, maybe going to have to go with the cracked version. Try to get, safe kids running again. Just because it's hard. It's hard when you're a young person like myself who has been raised in the age of technology and have been conditioned. I've been on this journey with Dumbphones for 3 years now, I think. No, 2 years, since 2020, like when the pandemic started. And I think in my own mind, it's so conditioned to like the fast apps and the quick fulfillment and dopamine and all that stuff. And it's hard. And for myself, my own needs, I personally need those blocking software. And I have a whole system for my laptop. If anyone's ever interested in looking at it, I got a foolproof system with the lockdown browser. Not lockdown browser, cold turkey blocker, which I think is an amazing service. And I got a whole system that stops blocking for those for on the laptop. Sorry, my mind is blanking. But if anyone wants anything more for any of these phones, if there's anything I can provide information wise, please let me know. I use YouTube videos often as a big resource when I'm trying to purchase phones, and so I thought I would try to give back a little bit and share my experiences. I might go with the Kin F21 Pro, but I fear that if it's a touchscreen, it's the same thing as this. I wish there was an F21 Pro that wasn't touchscreen. And I know that sounds counterproductive, but if there was something that ran Android that wasn't touchscreen, that would be good for me, I think. But then again, who knows? I feel like, just having access to Android, you're not getting a Dumbphone experience. But KaiOS nowadays is so shit with 3.0. I know the 2760 came out, and you can't do voice to text as far as I'm aware. If there is, somebody let me know, because I will buy a phone immediately. Alcatel phones, same thing, running KaiOS. Yeah, so that's kind of the situation. I wish someone like Sunbeam would release a more, diverse phone with more options. I love having, there's some things that you need in a pinch, I think, for someone who's broke constantly. It's an app for banking. Because if I go to a supermarket, I need to see if I have money in my bank before I can buy $100 of groceries. So that's kind of important. It wasn't, though, when I had, the Nokia, because I would look it up beforehand. And so, maybe I've just gotten spoiled over the years of, secretly upgrading what I have, pretending that I need more and more features when I was fine with the 2720 Flip when it had voice to text and WhatsApp. I think that was, the perfect phone for me. And unfortunately, I don't know which ones on eBay are updated and which ones are not, and I don't want to take that risk again, spending $100 that I don't have to buy an eBay version and not having voice to text and getting screwed out of money again. So, yeah, there's kind of a little bit of my journey. If anyone has any recommendations, or if you've even stayed this long in the video, I'm very surprised. But any questions, please let me know. I have YouTube blocked constantly, so I will, and Reddit, after if I post something, ever, I always have to reblock it via my girlfriend, who has the password to my student mode, and has blocked the password to this one. This one doesn't work. Can't even do anything with this one, nor these ones. So she has a different password for this one and this one because it's not using right now. And only one I am able to use is this one, the Titan Pocket. Which, if you don't care about size, I will mention that it's a good phone. Texting is a little stiff for me, I find. Compared to the Classic, this is just a dream. Their texting experience on the Classic, I know this doesn't come off at all, but it's so good. I was so much faster on this guy, and I thought it was going to be the same on the Titan Pocket, but it's a lot more stiff, and just the way the buttons are designed, something about it just makes it a lot more difficult to type on, which is a bummer. But other than that, one thing I was really impressed in is the fingerprint sensor works really, really well. Surprisingly really, really well. The fingerprint sensor on the Jelly might as well be a piece of gum, because don't know why that's the analogy I use, but doesn't work at all. Will never work. And if you find one that it does work on, maybe buy a lottery ticket, because that would be incredible. Fingerprint sensor on this guy works awesome. And you know what? Put the Blackberry launcher on it, it works well. But then look, I end up having Reddit and TikTok and Facebook and Instagram download. I have this completely deleted in my Instagram account, but sometimes you fall back into old patterns, and that's kind of where I'm in right now, so that's why I'm back on the market looking for something else. But, at the end of the day, I'm probably weaker than you are when it comes to self-control. So, I wish I could talk to somebody about these things in real life. Never met anyone who also has a Dumbphone, but I think it'd be cool if I met one of the Dumbphone community or someone else with a 3310 or something, which I used to have, the 4G version, as I mentioned before. But I thought if I can help anybody by explaining things, showing the size of the phones, going through that type of thing, then that's great. I know it's not a fancy video, no cuts or anything, but if anyone wants a more in-depth review on any of these phones other than the iPhone because it's broken, let me know, because they all do run, and I have used all of them for more than 3-4 months each, whether alone or concurrently. And so I know a lot of the quirks and the little things, but I don't even know if it's worth it to make a video on it, because it's been done before and probably much better than I've done it, or I'm able to do it. But yeah, anyway, cheers. You guys are a great community at the Dumbphone subreddit. Hopefully we see more development. I know there's new iOS 3.0 phones, but there's not a lot of hope that I've seen for those, because they've been shit, to put it frankly. I I don't know if Shock is going to come out with anything that's good. You can't buy it now. The Opal, you can't buy it in Canada. Sonim Big, I think they just blocked third-party access to Android apps as well. I do wonder why the Dumbphone Finder includes the Jelly 2 but not the Tightened Pocket, because it's a good dumb phone if people were aware of the student mode software. Just because it's, not small, I think its value is what it comes with, and I didn't even know that it came with that when I bought it. I put the app away in a folder when I had got this phone first, and I clicked on it once, and I was like, holy crap, there's a blocker in here, which can turn this phone into a real dumb phone with specific apps that you want. And that's my biggest hesitation with getting, the Xiaomi Kin F21 Pro, which is a form factor which I much prefer. But I don't think there's a student mode. I know that you can get the F21 locked version, but then you can't get any Android apps. Or maybe I know you can sideload some APKs, but I know in the review that Jose Briones did, there was a little kind of text blob that came up that said you can't, they have blocked that feature, so you have to get the cracked version. I wish to God that Unihertz made a flip phone. That would make my life complete. And if it wasn't as thick as a box of bricks, a bric-a-brac, that would be wonderful too. Do I see that happening? No way in hell. I don't know if they're going to move in the QWERTY direction. I don't know what the hell they're doing. I like what they're doing. It's super cool. And I love the blocker on it. But I don't know. Anyway, I've been blabbering for much too long. If you guys want have any questions to ask, you can leave them in the post that I'm going to put on Reddit. Or in the comment section, and I will try to answer them or post another video. If anyone wants another video on any of these specific phones or has any advice for me of, kind of things to do or ways to solve any of my issues, that would be wonderful, because, it's frustrating dealing in the dumb phone space. Because I see so many people on their accounts that post, oh, I got the 6300 4G, it's my favorite phone. 2 months later, another post saying, oh, I got the Titan Pocket. And then 2 months later, oh, I got a Pixel 4 with a launcher. It seems like so many people struggle with finding, their white whale phone that can actually do what they need. But maybe that's just because some overcomplicate things. Some people are okay with the normal 3310 3G, texting, calling, and that's it. And God, do I wish I was that person. But, as a young person entering, the workforce, it's hard. You can't just do that. You can't just unplug. If you have a job that requires you to use any internet, you can't go for a simple phone. And most likely, if you need to have emails on your phone or need to be running social medias if you're in marketing or, unfortunately that's kind of the space that I'm interested in, you need a phone. And that's why I run with these, because if I need something specific, I can do it. But it's hard. I wish I was just able to work in an industry or, be interested in something that just required me to be able to just have something with WhatsApp and voice to text. But now that doesn't even exist with the KaiOS phones. So, it's screwed. But any advice would be appreciated. Any questions, please ask. It's been a pleasure. Take care.